So today, we need to talk about something really critical: the life-threatening barriers autistic people face every single day. But more importantly, we're going to look at a powerful framework designed by autistic professionals that offers a real, practical way to make things better. Let's get into it. Okay, let's just start with a number that should really make you pause: 16 to 30 years. According to a 2016 study, that's how much shorter the average lifespan is for an autistic person compared to their non-autistic peers. This isn't just some abstract statistic. It's a massive, frankly, unacceptable. And it doesn't stop there. The suicide rate for autistic people is a staggering 7 times higher. And the truly heartbreaking part? So many of the reasons for this are preventable. They come from systemic barriers in places we all use: hospitals, workplaces, schools, environments that just weren't built with neurodiversity in mind. So before we can talk about a solution, we have to really understand the problem. What are these invisible barriers? What's actually creating this life-threatening disparity? A huge piece of this puzzle is a concept called masking. You can think of it as a constant self-preservation strategy where someone has to hide or suppress their natural autistic traits just to fit in and avoid being judged or harassed. As you can imagine, doing that day in and day out is absolutely exhausting and takes a massive toll on mental health. This quote from an autistic professional, wow, it just says it all, doesn't it? Can you just imagine the sheer amount of energy it takes to constantly perform a version of yourself that isn't real, just so you can navigate the world without facing stigma? And that constant performance, that effort, it has a real, severe long-term cost. It can lead to something called autistic burnout. And we're not just talking about a bad week, it's a state of total and complete exhaustion, a loss of skills, and an inability to cope that can be completely debilitating. Another one of these invisible walls is sensory overload. I'm talking about things that non-autistic people might barely register, like the buzz of fluorescent lights, the background noise in an office, or the hum of a fridge. For an autistic person, that can be intensely overwhelming and lead to involuntary reactions. These aren't behaviors to be managed. They are a direct response to an environment that's just too much. But this is where the story starts to change. This is the hopeful part. In response to this crisis, a group of autistic doctors created a simple, memorable, and incredibly practical framework to tackle these exact issues. It's called Autistic SPACE. And here it is. This framework was specifically designed to be easy to use, to promote real accessibility without piling on a ton of extra work for, say, clinicians. It's all built around 5 core needs that are common for many autistic people. Okay, so let's really get into the nuts and bolts of this. We're going to break down each letter of the acronym, SPACE, to see how it actually works to create safer, more inclusive places for everyone. First up, S is for sensory. As we've already seen, autistic people can experience the world in a profoundly different way through their senses. What feels like simple background noise to you might feel like a full-on rock concert to someone else. And what's amazing is how simple the solutions can be. We're not talking about reinventing the wheel here. In a clinic, it could be as easy as dimming the harsh fluorescent lights, offering noise-canceling headphones in the waiting room, or asking staff not to wear strong perfumes. These are small tweaks that make a huge difference in reducing stress and the need for that exhausting masking. Okay, next up, P for predictability. Because for so many people, the unexpected isn't just an inconvenience, it can be a source of intense anxiety. Life is always going to be a little unpredictable, but we can do so much more to control the controllables. Just imagine you're going to a hospital. You don't know how long you'll wait, what the room will look like, or who you're going to meet. That's incredibly stressful. But what if you were sent pictures of the staff, a clear schedule, or even a short video tour beforehand? That simple act transforms the entire experience, lowering anxiety and freeing up mental energy. All right, on to A for acceptance. And this one is huge because it's about going way beyond just being aware of autism. This is about a true neurodiversity affirming approach that sees different ways of thinking and being as just a normal part of human variation. And this is where we see a really critical flip in the script. Acceptance means the responsibility shifts. Instead of expecting an autistic person to suppress their natural ways of self-regulating, like stimming with their hands or focusing intensely on one topic, the environment should adapt to them. It's about seeing these traits as simply different, not as problems to be fixed. Now let's talk about C for communication. The key idea here is so important. Autistic communication is different. It's not deficient or broken. But those differences can lead to huge misunderstandings if we're not careful. And again, the fixes here are so practical. It's about clarity. Be direct, avoid sarcasm, metaphors, and vague hints. And think about access. Instead of forcing someone into a stressful phone call, why not offer an option to book an appointment over email or text? It removes a whole layer of guesswork and stress. Finally, we have E for empathy. And honestly, this might be the most crucial part because it tackles one of the oldest, most harmful myths out there. The idea that autistic people somehow lack empathy. The truth is way more nuanced. This gets at a concept called the double empathy problem. And the idea is that breakdowns in understanding are a two-way street. A non-autistic person can struggle to understand an autistic person's experience just as much as the reverse. So what's the solution? It's simple. Stop making assumptions based on tone of voice or body language. Just ask. Ask directly, listen carefully, and make sure you're on the same page. So here's what's so brilliant about this. This whole framework, which started in a healthcare context, applies perfectly to pretty much any environment you can think of, especially the workplace. These principles are universal. I mean, just look at this comparison. It's a direct one-to-one. The sensory need to avoid unexpected touch in a medical exam, that's the same need for more personal space in an open-plan office. A predictable meeting agenda is just as vital as a predictable hospital visit. It's the same core need, just in a different setting. And that really brings us to the biggest takeaway of all. The SPACE framework was designed for the 2 to 3% of people who are autistic, but its principles create better, safer, and more supportive environments for the 10 to 15% of us who are neurodivergent. And you know what? Probably for everyone. So I want to leave you with this final thought. So often, when we design our world to better include one group of people, we accidentally make it better for everybody. So what if making space for autistic people isn't just about them? What if it's really about making a more thoughtful, more human-centered world for all of us?